Some people feel anxious even when nothing dangerous is happening. No argument, no emergency, no immediate threat, no obvious reason. And that is the confusing part, because from the outside, it can look irrational. You are sitting in a quiet room, driving to work, laying in bed, watching television, trying to relax, and suddenly your body starts reacting like something bad is about to happen. The chest tightens, the breathing changes, the thoughts speed up, the body becomes alert. And sometimes the mind immediately starts searching for a reason. What did I forget? Did I do something wrong? Is something about to happen? Did somebody get upset with me? Am I falling behind? Because the nervous system doesn't like unexplained activation. It wants to understand why the body suddenly feels unsafe. But sometimes the anxiety isn't coming from the present moment. Sometimes the body is reacting to old conditioning. That's what many people misunderstand about anxiety. Not all anxiety comes from current danger. Some anxiety comes from a nervous system that learned safety was inconsistent. And when the body grows up inside emotional unpredictability, it can begin treating calm moments with suspicion. Because if stress used to arrive suddenly, then the nervous system learns to stay prepared, even when life becomes quieter later. Some people grew up in environments where emotional stability changed quickly. A parent could be calm one moment and explosive the next. The atmosphere could shift without warning. You could walk into the room and immediately start scanning energy, trying to read facial expressions, trying to predict moods, trying to avoid tension before it fully arrived. And when that pattern repeats for years, the body adapts. Hyperawareness becomes survival. The nervous system learns that paying attention constantly might help reduce emotional pain. So later in life, when things finally become quiet, the body sometimes doesn't know how to trust the quiet. Because peace feels unfamiliar, and unfamiliarity can feel unsafe. That's why some people feel anxious during calm moments. Not because calmness is dangerous, but because the nervous system learned to associate emotional safety with unpredictability. Sometimes people think anxiety always means something is wrong in the current moment. But many times, anxiety is the body trying to prevent future pain based on past experience. It's preparation, it's anticipation, it's the nervous system trying to stay ahead of emotional danger before it arrives. And that can become exhausting, because the body never fully relaxes, even during safe moments. Some people become so used to emotional tension that stillness almost feels suspicious. A calm relationship can feel confusing, a peaceful weekend can feel uncomfortable, a slow day can make the mind restless. Because when the body spent years preparing for instability, peace can initially feel emotionally unfamiliar. That's one reason some people overthink constantly. The mind is trying to create certainty, trying to predict outcomes, trying to prepare emotionally, trying to avoid being blindsided. Because somewhere in the nervous system, unexpected emotional pain still feels possible. And many people don't even realize how automatic this becomes. Sometimes the body reacts before conscious thought even appears. A tone changes, a text feels shorter, somebody becomes quieter than usual, and suddenly the nervous system activates. Not because the situation is actually dangerous, but because the body remembers what emotional shifts used to mean. That's why healing isn't only intellectual. You can't always logic your way out of nervous system conditioning, because the body learned these patterns emotionally first, through repetition, through unpredictability, through emotional survival. And this is also why some people become frustrated with themselves, because they know logically that nothing is wrong, but their body still reacts. And that disconnect can create shame. People start thinking, why am I like this? Why can't I relax? Why does my mind keep doing this? But nervous system patterns are rarely created overnight. And they usually don't disappear overnight either. The body adapts slowly, especially after years of emotional conditioning. Sometimes anxiety isn't weakness. Sometimes it is unresolved preparedness, a nervous system that learned staying alert helped maintain emotional survival. And when people begin understanding that, self-hatred can slowly start decreasing, because they stop viewing themselves as broken and begin recognizing that their body adapted to what it experienced. That doesn't mean the patterns should stay forever. But understanding where they came from changes how healing begins. Because healing usually becomes more effective once shame decreases. A nervous system that constantly feels attacked rarely relaxes. That's why self-awareness matters. Not to excuse unhealthy patterns, but to understand them clearly enough to stop fighting yourself blindly. And over time, healing often starts teaching the nervous system something new. That calm doesn't always mean danger is coming. That silence doesn't always mean tension is building. That emotional safety can remain consistent. That peace doesn't need to be earned through hypervigilance. But for many people, that learning process takes time. Because the body usually trusts repeated experience more than temporary reassurance. That's why healing often requires repetition. Repeated calm, repeated safety, repeated emotional consistency, repeated experiences where disaster doesn't arrive. And eventually, little by little, the nervous system begins loosening its grip. Not perfectly, not instantly, but gradually. Because the body slowly starts realizing it no longer needs to survive every moment emotionally. And sometimes, that realization becomes the beginning of real peace. Not because anxiety disappears forever, but because the nervous system slowly stops treating life like constant incoming danger. And for many people, that is where healing truly begins.